Thanks for joining me once again on the Chase card. Today we're going to be looking at the most valuable and sought after cards in Scarlet and Violet's PALDEA Evolved. Now this is not a top 10 video. I'm just about up to here with top 10 videos. Every man and his dog is doing top 10 videos. Nothing wrong with it, I've got nothing against it, but this is not a top 10 video. We're going to be looking at several cards, maybe 15 to 20 cards in the PALDEA Evolved set that are basically anything over $10 we're going to be looking at, American dollars. So this set has so much depth. I just want to go through some of the big chase cards and some of the not so big chase cards but still pretty cool cards to just show you how deep this set is, how cool this set is. I think initially it was a little bit overlooked, but now investors are starting to realize this is a really good Scarlet and Violet set. One of the best Scarlet and Violet sets we've had so far, bar 151 probably being the best so far, but this is not far behind it. Guys, we're going to go through a lot of cards here today. This video is going to be slightly longer than normal. If you want to just find out the number one chase card, just skip toward the end of the video and the big end items will be at the end of the video. We're going to start off a bit smaller here. So this is the Fuecoco. If we have a look here, this card's market price on TCG Player is $10.27. You can see how it's trending over the last 3 months. We've got it up here at, what is it doing up here? About $11.40, $11.50 back in October. Took a bit of a dive, but it's been climbing back pretty consistently back in the trend. So not an expensive card, but from the low, from the high eights back here in November, up until sort of over $11, and now sitting around $10.60. The Fuecoco. Right, let's knock that one. Next, we have the Spirigatito. Okay, this is the illustration rare from PALDEA Evolved, Spirigatito. You can see down here, if we scroll down a little bit, we've got 1 month. You can see initially all these cards kind of tank straight out the gate, and then they find their form. So this Spirigatito has been down to $10.60, and then started, back in November it went down to under $10, early November, and it's had its ups and downs, but it is trending reasonably nicely. Had a big high here of $12.23 back in early December, and it's come off a little bit since then, and it's sitting just over $10. So we've got a bunch of cards here over $10. This set's got about 20 cards, I think, off memory, over $10, and we'll just go through them one by one. This Baxcalibur sitting at $10.58 at the moment. Some of these artworks are really nice. A lot of these Pokemon, to be honest, I haven't really heard of before, so I'm not sure if this is their starter year, their rookie years, but a lot of weird and wonderful names. This one has tanked a fair bit, not really showing much signs of improvement. The Baxcalibur was $13.55 back in early November, and it's been tanking since then. Come off about sort of, I guess, 25-30% or so. Sitting just under $11. The Baxcalibur illustration rare. Next, we have the Meowscarada EX special illustration rare. Now this one, again, $10.60. A lot of these cards are around the $10 mark that I'm going to go through until we get to the big chase cards. That's the 6-month trend line, 3-month trend line. This thing has not shown any signs of improvement. It's come off a long way. Some of these in the PSA 10 are actually selling reasonably well. But this has gone from $15 a couple of months back all the way down to, it's pretty much at its lowest now, $10.60. Will they keep dropping? How long will they keep dropping for? Who knows? I don't have a crystal ball. But they've come off a long way. Next we have Boss's Orders. I quite like this card. You'll see a pattern with a lot of these cards going south. Again, almost every new set that comes out from Pokemon starts really high and just slowly tanks as the popularity wears off. As more packs get open, more people pull the card, becomes, well, more common. More cards get graded, becomes easier to get. So it's just a standard trend. Any Pokemon investor knows exactly what I'm talking about, or collector knows what I'm talking about. These cards usually, bar a few exceptions, most of them just tank in those initial few months. Once they find their level, that can be a good pickup. But this Boss's Orders, I think it's a great looking card. It's come down from over $15 down to $11.50 at the moment. Next we have the Grusher. I think that's how you pronounce it, Grusher. Again, I really like this card. Some of these cards are really nice. My personal opinion. I'm not sure what you guys think. Feel free to comment. We've got, yeah, again, another one that's just tanked. This was almost $20, $18.38 back in August. It's just been diving ever since. Had a bit of a dead cat bounce here back in October, up close to $15 again, and now sitting just under $12. Nice looking card, obviously not extremely rare. Look, I've opened 3 booster boxes so far of Paldea Evolved. I haven't pulled this card yet. So, I mean, some of these cards are probably not a bad pickup if you just buy them outright. This Skeledirge next. I have pulled this card out of a booster box. This is the special illustration rare Skeledirge EX. It's again same pattern. You can see the trend occurring here. Just these cards just keep diving. Yeah, so it was as high as $15.49 a few months back. Now sitting just over $12. It did have a low of $11.50 in December, sitting around that $12 mark now. The Skeledirge. It's quite a nice card, not the best card. Bit of a funny character, that Skeledirge. It's like a robotic crocodile or something, very strange. But now this one's bucked the trend a little bit. This Mosshold, if that's how you pronounce it, Mosshold. So if we go back 3 months, it sort of picked up from $10.50 up to $14 quite quickly, and then just absolutely tanked again. Quite volatile initially, down to 11, back up to 13.80, down to 11.70, and sitting just over $12. But this trend line, look at that for 6 months. In 6 months, it's gone from $9 to $12.50. So over a 30% increase in 6 months. So this card, for some reason, is bucking the trend. Again, from 3 booster boxes, I haven't pulled this one either. I'm not a huge fan of this one, but I'm sure some people find it cute, and it's outperforming some of the other cards we've looked at so far in Paldea Evolved. Next, the Chi-Yu EX from Paldea Evolved. In 6 months, it's gone from almost $20, $19.58, all the way down to $15. That's gone from about almost 25% in 6 months. You can see over the last 3 months, it's gone from $16.50 up to $18, back down. Sits around $15.50 at the moment. Not a bad looking card. That's the special illustration rare. Chi-Yu EX. EX, baby. Tinkaton EX. Special illustration rare. This card's sitting just under $15 also. So we've gone through a bunch of cards already, all between that $10 and $15 mark. So you can see how much depth Paldea Evolved has. If you look at some other Pokemon sets, you might get one really big chase card between $100 and a few $100, and then the next card might be $15, and then the rest of them are just garbage. So you can see how much depth Paldea Evolved really has. Even though some of these prices are tanking, still sitting over $10 raw. This is definitely, in my opinion, the best set from Scarlet and Violet so far. We're about 5 sets in now. Bar 151. 151 is a specialty set. Out of all the regular sets from Scarlet and Violet, Paldea Evolved definitely has my vote, and I'll be accumulating a lot of sealed product. Primarily booster boxes. Though the Pokemon Center ETB would be worth picking up. Has a Pikachu promo card with the Pokemon Center stamp. Will be very sought after. Those Pokemon Center ETBs come at an absolute premium though. But moving on, the Tinkaton Tinkerton EX. The Tinkerton EX. What do we have here? It's gone from 1860 down to 14, just sitting over $15 now. This is all American dollars, I believe, on the tcgplayer.com. The Raikou illustration rare. This has been a bit of a popular card with collectors. Though again, same pattern as 90% of these cards. It's come off from $20 back in September all the way down to $15 and currently sitting just over $16 raw. They're very cute card, very popular with collectors. The Raikou illustration rare. And here we have the Squawkabilly EX. Now the Squawkabilly is bucking the trend. This trend line here looks nothing like what we've seen from any of the other PALDEA Evolved cards so far. So we'll go back 3 months. This card's gone from $9.90 in 3 months to up to almost $18 now. It's almost doubled in 3 months. People that think that's not much money, $10 cards here, $5 cards there. The reason this is important to sealed collectors, to have cards in sets that have some kind of value, it increases that sealed value over time. There's more chase cards that people want to pick up from these sets, and it really drives that sealed price. That's why this stuff's important. It might seem like we're talking about pennies. What's the big deal? Who's going to get rich from this? But it helps the sealed booster box price over a long period of time if there's a lot of depth in the set. So this is very important. These cards all been between $10 and $20 and then north of that, and having so many in this set, very important to a sealed collector. So this Squawkabilly's gone from $9 back in October. Yeah, it's almost doubled. It's had a high of basically $18 in December and sitting at $17.50 now. So the Squawkabilly EX. I don't know why, but people love Squawkabilly. Okay. And exact opposite for this Qianpao EX. Exact opposite to Squawkabilly. Same set, same time period, same market, and completely opposite trend line to the Squawkabilly. This thing's gone from $28.65 a couple of months back, 3 months ago, all the way down to under $18. So it's dropped more than $10. It's like 35% drop. If my maths is off, I'm not a mathematician, but I think that's about a 35% drop. Correct me in the comments if you must. And it just does not look like it's showing any signs of recovery. So I don't know why this has dropped off. Either it's just easy to collect or not very popular. That's the Qianpao EX currently sitting at $17.50. Okay, we start getting into the top. We're at 1, 2, 3. We start getting into the top 5 cards now. Now, I'm not a huge fan of these item cards. This is a hyper rare. This is a hyper rare item card, the Super Rod. Now, this thing again is bucking the trend. So in 6 months, this card's gone from $12 all the way up to $18. Had a high of $18.36 in November, and it's sat pretty consistently around that $18 mark for the last couple of months. 3 months, it's gone from 14, almost $15, up to $18.30, back down to $15.70, and since early December, so for the last month, it's had a really good trend line moving upwards and starting to get close to that $18 mark. You can see up the top a near mint hollow foil, $29 they're selling this Super Rod for, but just under $20 for the item card. One of the few cards in the set so far bucking the trend and heading north. So obviously a popular card. Now the Tyranitar I thought was a very popular card. It's not performed the best, but it's not performed the worst. It's possibly recovering here in the last few weeks. It's picked up from $18.60 to $21, so it could be recovering, or it could just be a dead cat bounce. But this Tyranitar over the last 3 months has gone from almost $23 to just under $21. So it's been fairly consistent. I mean, it had a big drop, but then it's recovered a bit. So just over 20 bucks for the Tyranitar Special Illustration Rare. Sorry, Illustration Rare. It's not a special illustration rare, just an illustration. Pretty cool card, Tyranitar. Just over 20 bucks, raw. Now we get to the top three. The Iona really takes the cake in this set, in PALDEA Evolved. Iona is the man. Hopefully she's not. Hopefully she really is a woman. So 40 bucks back in October and crashing down to $31. Back up to $36 here a couple of weeks back, about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Back up to 36 and now sitting around 35 bucks. Raw prices. Obviously, if you get these graded in a PSA 10, they can go for a lot more money. This is not the number one Iona chase card, but it is the third most valuable card in PALDEA Evolved. What's next? Number two, the second most valuable card in PALDEA Evolved. And I would argue that over a long enough time frame, this could actually become the number one chase card. But at the moment, it's the number two most valuable card. Is this Magikarp Illustration Rare. Beautiful artwork. I personally love this card. I'm not a big Magikarp fan, but I do love this card. And I'm keen to get my hands on this card. I'm hoping actually the price comes off a bit. I'd like to pick this up at an affordable price. In a PSA 10, this English version Magikarp, I've seen selling for around $600 or $700. The Japanese one's actually a bit cheaper. I think the Japanese version comes out of the triplet beat set. But Magikarp, very expensive in a PSA 10 for a pretty new set. Really carrying PALDEA Evolved. The number two card here, it's $56 raw. A few weeks ago, it's gone back up to $66. It's had a high of almost $70 back in November. And it's almost there again, back up to $67. So this card's holding really well. It did have a big dip around Christmas time. But I mean, a lot of people don't have spare money at Christmas time anyway, so you'll see that quite commonly. But into the new year, 2024, this thing has already gone up 10 bucks in the last few weeks. So Magikarp holding really well. My preferred card in the set. I would rather pull this than the Iona. I know the Iona is worth a bit more, but let's get to that now. So that's the Magikarp. Number one chase card. The number one chase card in PALDEA Evolved. Special Illustration Rare Iona. So there she is. She's got those angry fangs out, those angry teeth. And the cute baby Pikachu on the pancakes. Looks like she's ready to devour him. And then down here in the bottom, you've got that Eevee just hanging around. So for let's look at the last month for this Iona. It's gone from $92 raw down to $85, back up to $91, and it's currently declining down just under 90 bucks, about $88 raw. So quite a valuable card. $88 raw. I'm not sure what this is going for in a PSA 10. I don't think I've looked that up actually, but like I said, the Magikarp in the PSA 10 is around 700, so I assume this is at least up there with that. In the last 3 months, so it did have that big drop from October to November, from 98 down to 81. So that was quite a significant drop. But since kind of mid to late November, this Iona has really been trending upward quite nicely. Slight dip in the last week, but that's not enough of a timeline to really measure it. The last almost 2 months, it's been trending up reasonably nicely. So you can see most of those cards we showed you actually have been tanking. I think there's been 3 or 4 cards that have bucked the trend, and this is one of them. So it's holding up quite nicely, this Iona, and it's really carrying PALDEA Evolved. So just there, I've gone through, I don't know if it was 17, 18, 19, 20 cards above $10 raw. So that's a really solid set. PALDEA Evolved, I think, was slightly overlooked. Scarlet, the first 2 sets that come out normally in any era have been quite ordinary. You look at Sword and Shield Base and then Rebel Clash were probably the 2 worst sets. Even those sealed products have gone up in value quite well. Especially the Rebel Clash Elite Trainer Box, but I'm not going to go into that now. But the point is, I think the market was expecting the first couple of sets of Scarlet and Violet to just be terrible, And Scarlet and Violet base was not great. It wasn't the worst base set we've had, but it wasn't great. And our Paldea Evolved kind of, I think, got a little bit overlooked as people started to already anticipate 151 coming down the road. And now investors, I think, are starting to look back and say, hang on, Paldea Evolved, it's got some depth. And lately I have been watching other YouTube creators, content creators, start to go back and say, hang on a minute, Paldea Evolved is quite a good set. And you'll see in time that this was initially overlooked. Start getting your hands on it now. I know you don't want to miss out on a lot of the Sword and Shield stuff that's about to go up in price, but don't forget to get your hands on some Paldea Evolved while you're out there also shopping for Sword and Shield or whatever you might be shopping for. Don't think like, I've got plenty of time, I'll buy Paldea Evolved later, because the good sets don't take years and years to perform. So when Paldea Evolved goes out of print, I think this year, by the back end of this year in 2024, it will already start showing some market improvement in the sealed prices. So get your hands on some Paldea Evolved. I'm going all in on Paldea Evolved. I think it's the best Scarlet and Violet set so far. And I'm adding plenty of booster boxes to my collection. I might even pick up a couple of blister packs because they do sell well down the track at a more affordable price range for people trying to get into the market. That's Paldea Evolved. A little bit of a different video, a bit long, maybe a bit boring. I hope you got some value out of it. Thanks for subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you next time on the Chase Card. Bye for now. Hi guys, before you go, if you like this video and you like Paldea Evolved, feel free to check out my other video. It'll be in one of these corners. I opened some Paldea Legends tins, had some great fun getting some hits out of those. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time on the Chase Card. Bye for now.